Welcome to the ElderAbyss show. For talking videos, it's the place to go. Game tips, rants, tactics, and more. What you'll find here, you can never be sure.
Guys, welcome to the show. This episode we got some Battlefield Bad Company 2, a little bit of Conquest mode, of course, because that's usually what we're rolling when we're playing. Conquest is just the way we like to go most of the time. Never did much go back to Rush even after they fixed it. Played it a little bit, probably need to get back, because that is the only pin or patch I'm missing in this entire game. It's just that one Rush pin where it's destroy the MCOMs for, you got to destroy 100 MCOMs. I think I've got like 70 some. And that's just where I gave up on Rush. But I need to get back into it, finish that pin, so I can have this game 100 and completely polished off, which would feel nice. That's the only thing I'm lacking. But in this game, I wanted to start it off with a little bit of talk about something that seems to be plaguing Battlefield here lately, and that's people backing out. So just to give you a little bit of backdrop, we joined this server on the previous match to the one I'm showing you guys here now, and we spawned in, and it was one of those, you know, you spawn into a server and it's a oh shit already kind of deal where they've got all the points, the enemy does, and you know you're severely lacking in tickets, as in a major ticket deficit. But you know, we stayed, we fought, and in the end, if we would have only had maybe 20 more tickets when we landed in the room, I think we could have pulled it off, because we was staging one hell of a comeback, and it was a lot of fun. This was the very next match. We spawned in, everybody stayed, and you know, the server was pretty much full. We had the A side, so we took A and B. We pushed up, we took C. We had a little bit of a fight for D, so at which point we owned all the points. They've done one, maybe two more pushes to try and take a capture point, and you know, we repelled those, and the guys backed out. So we was left with like 11 on 3 or 4 at the time, I think. So I mean, you can either do the crabby ass base camping thing, which, let's just face it, at this point that's pretty much boring in my book anyhow. Or you can back out and find another server. Or you can do what we did here, which was to simply switch teams. That's why when this started, the enemy had all the points and we already had a pretty good ticket deficit going on. Figured, you know, that was just as good as backing out and finding another room, because you're going to most likely land in a similar situation anyhow. Plus, it was quick and easy and presented a challenge right to us. So that's what we done. We just switched teams and decided to wage war against our former teammates. And this ensued. It was one hell of a match, and we're going to go through it piece by piece, kind of, sort of. But I want to take a moment and pause right here for something special. That's right, I finally hit rank 50. Took me a long time, but I don't play this game as much as a lot of folks do. But I was glad to finally get there. Which kind of poses another issue. What do you have to look forward to now? Now that I've got the 50, ooh, there's no more rank ups. I guess I just play because I love the game at this point, right? That's one thing I'm really hoping they address in the new Battlefield, is I would really like to see the XP mean something. You know, in this game it means something to you get to what, level 22, 24, somewhere in that neighborhood, mid-20s, where you've got everything unlocked. And then from there on out, it, other than a number and a symbol, it don't really mean much. I would like to see that addressed so that that XP means something, somehow, some way that does something for you. And it doesn't have a ceiling. There's different ways you can do that. I would like to see it implemented some way, somehow. I want to see the XP have merit. I want to see it mean more than it does, basically. Because, excuse me, that was, that's one of my biggest beefs with this game is the XP system. You get everything on. It's great while you're going through the unlocks. It's fun. I love playing the game, and seeing the little drop down of a new weapon or attachment or something. That was awesome. But now, after you get everything unlocked, it don't really mean a lot, to be honest with you. And, kind of to answer my own question with that perspective being stated, what do I have to look forward to? The same thing I've been looking forward to for the last 25 or so ranks, I reckon. Just playing for the hell of it. But like I said, I'd love to see that addressed somehow, some way, so that has more weight, more merit. I think that would be a great, expansion, or I don't think that's the right word. That would be a great step forward into the system that we've got now. It would be much welcomed by myself, and I believe pretty much the majority of the community would like to see that mean more than what it does. But now that I'm a 50, man, hate mail inbound, I guess, right? And there's always been a little bit of hate mail, but I know all my buddies that are 50, it's like the hate mail switch gets tripped. But we'll see. No harm, no foul, won't bother me none. Life goes on. So getting back to the gameplay here, you can see we kind of went over and we took A and B without a whole lot of resistance, because honestly most of these guys were pushed all the way up into the deployment side on our end. So we kind of took it out from underneath their feet, and now we would really like to get back C and D, since that's our side of the map now. But it turns out those guys were so dug in, that's where the majority of the fight ends up being. Occasionally we get some guys that will deploy back at their spawn, or spawn back at their deployment, one way or the other. And they'll push up and give us a little bit of resistance, or try to take A or B, but it wasn't so much. For the most part, these guys were hell-bent and determined that a spawn trap was going on, it seemed like. They just kept spawning on each other over there on that side of the map. Don't even really know if they realized what was going on. But you'll have that. Especially when people get into that base raping, spawn trapping kind of mode, they think they've got it at that point. And if you get past them, you just pull the rug out from under their feet and it's like, whoa, what happened? But moving on. You notice I'm using the F2000. I recently platinumed the old AEK finally. And I gotta say, I used that gun at first, like we all did, because it was your first bungalow. So you kind of dredged through that and you got on to something else, because let's face it, it's not the greatest gun in the game. While it does the same damage as the M16, the recoil's crazy wicked with that, and it's a little bit of a difficult gun. But I played with it quite a bit lately as I was knocking out that platinum on it, and I just about killed myself with that nade right there. I meant for that to go over the wall, but sometimes it don't. But having that gun platinum and using it, for that period of time, I gotta say, the iron sights on it, I love that. The XM8 iron sights on that whole series of guns has always been good. But that AEK iron sight's pretty badass, man. I got to using that and I really liked it. I kind of settled in with a fire pattern on that weapon so that I could do a decent amount of work with it, but I don't know. My walk away feelings on the gun now, it's not as bad as I originally thought it was. Definitely not the best gun in the game, but it does hold its own, and you can work it highly effectively with the iron sights, so you can free up that spec slot that you would normally use a red dot or something else on. So all in all, decent gun. We'll leave it as that. But on one final note, I was so happy to move on. So I moved on to the F2000. I wanted to try it out because I haven't given this gun a good shakedown since they patched it. And if my understanding's correct, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure you guys will help me out with this, but the way that it sets now after being doctored up and shown a little love through a patch or two, they gave it a little bit of a damage boost, I think, from the original. But the main thing is they tightened up the spread on it so that you could focus more of a run and gun style with it, which is a good thing because this gun is extremely effective up close. It's decent at mid-range, but after that, it's a crapshoot. Even with the red dot on it like I've got here, it's so-so. You really... Watch this. Just hate to interrupt, but did you see that? I jumped right on top of the guy, put the gun in his head, and mowed. Nothing. I don't know what happened there. My only thought is that maybe... I don't know how the projectile code is on this game. Some games do it differently as far as origin of the projectile, or the trace, however you want to look at it. But if it starts at the end of my gun, maybe I had, the physical location of my gun was actually through him because I was so close. It was the only thing I could think of. But I digress. What was I talking about? The F2000. So they doctored up to focus more on that run and gun style, which actually makes the gun feel pretty good. This is probably not the best map for it, given these long lines of sight. I'm kind of handicapping myself using this gun, I would say, on this map, because the lines of sight on this map go anywhere from a decent mid-range up to, 3/4 the way across the map in some instances. But I've done all right, even with this gun in this particular map. I thought I'd done all right. There's not an extreme amount of close quarter combat that goes on here, but that's the good thing about Conquest is there's always a little bit of close quarter combat because of the nature of the game. I mean, everybody's down in those points trying to take it, or they're down there guarding it. There's usually somebody there where you want to be, or somebody that wants to be where you are. If that makes sense. But anyhow, this, let me think. I haven't used this gun a lot. In fact, I don't believe it was this round. I think it was the round before. I just finally got the silver star on this gun. So it kind of gives you a perspective as to how much I've actually used this thing. My walk-away impressions after spending a few rounds with it last night, after it's been shown some love, it's a pretty damn good gun. I think it would shine better on something where, like Oasis Conquest, for instance, where everything's up close, and shotguns. Oh, shotguns, man! Don't get me started. We're going to talk about shotguns here pretty soon, because those things are really getting under my skin since they've been worked on. But on something like Oasis, where everything's close quarters, we played a couple of rounds of that last night, and that F2000 is just beast, man. Guys, they can't hardly compete with it, at close range, except for those shotties and stuff like that. And there's a it's a good example of the effectiveness of this thing at range, you know, within its effective range. And I believe it's coming up here pretty soon. I think I get whacked out right here, but I know it's down on this end of the map somewhere about this time frame where a medic, and medic actually flanks me, gets behind me, he lays into me. I think he's got an RPK, and he gives me a little bit of hate with that RPK. He just about kills me, but I was actually able to turn on him and mow his ass down with this gun because it is so vicious at that range. But I don't know, it's really hard to compete with, you know, with inside that, I would say, what, give or take a few meters. I would say anywhere within 30 to 50 meters in that neighborhood. This gun is just crazy, man. You know, up close it just is a lawnmower, and that's kind of what it sounds like. So, but looks like we pulled it off. It's a pretty good round. We managed to pull it out and come back. And let's see how I done with this F2000 on this 27-17. I'll take that on that big map with that gun. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the rank up and to talk about the backouts. And we'll catch you next time. Later, guys.
Ready been told. We're all just gamers.